6, we're back again. Kristi and Katie, your crime time friends. Stories, justice, laughs collide. True Crime Squad, come join the ride. Grab the clues, let's take a stand. For victims' voices, hand in hand. True Crime Squad, it's time to shine. Season 6, your turn, your time. True Crime Squad, where justice meets hilarity.
Hey everybody, welcome to the True Crime Squad. I'm Kristi Brower, here with my sister, co-host, and partner in crime, Katie Weaver.
Hello.
Hello. How is day 1 of 48?
I mean, it seems fine. I feel the same. Since I've already been 48 for a year, I've really been practicing. So, yeah.
You have. You've gotten pretty good at it at this point.
It's all good. We had a very interesting dinner last night.
Oh my gosh. Didn't we though?
We went to the Outback, and the Outback where we live used to be a very good place, you know, and their food is really good typically. But we've never had an experience quite like that. Well, we were being waited on by children.
This is what happens when you get to be this age. You're like,
Right.
oh my God.
And
How old are these servers?
oh my goodness, everything took so long. And our Outback's only open for dinner service, and we were there at 6:30, and they'd already sold out of some of the items that we ordered. And we were visiting and having fun, like it wasn't the end of the world. Our bar
Well, they brought us a bloomin' onion that was about this big around.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it in my whole life. It didn't.
And she said, "We're going to bring you 2 more because that one's really little." Okay, but it took probably 20 minutes for the next 2 to come out. Our drinks from the bar took a really long time, and mine was completely wrong. I ordered a
Oh, it
pina
was?
colada. Yeah, mine was supposed to be a blended drink.
Oh, I
It
didn't
wasn't
realize it was wrong.
a martini. It was in a martini glass, but it wasn't.
Mine
Anyway,
was a martini.
there was just a lot of weird things. But the funniest thing that happened, so they
Oh
give you
my
a free
God.
dessert because it's your birthday, which is fine. I could take it or leave it. I'm not there for the free thing, but you know, they do the thing.
Right.
So, and the waitress said, "Oh yeah, we do a sundae. It's, you know, hot fudge and a cherry on top. It's great." I'm like, "Okay, great. Fine. Bring a bunch of spoons. We'll just share it with the table." Quite a long time later, this girl comes out with a full-size dinner plate with a scoop of ice cream in the corner of it. I'm guessing the plate was hot, you know, and it melted to the very edge. With, I would say, maybe a thimbleful of hot fudge that was just kind of all over the plate. And
That's what I said. I'm like, oh, I'm glad they gave you a whole thimble full of hot fudge. And yeah,
that
most
was
of it
all.
wasn't even on the ice cream.
That's what it was.
It didn't even have like whipped cream and a cherry or some sprinkles.
No.
Nothing. It didn't
Oh
even
my
look like a
gosh.
sundae. It
Well, it
was
was on a plate, a dinner plate.
yeah, that was hot and it had sort of melted to the corner. Oh my God.
We laughed so hard. I'm like, what is
I
going on here?
could not even. I was dying laughing.
And I just feel like the staff was doing the best that they knew to do. There just
They
seemed
were.
to be,
They were struggling but oh my
yeah.
God.
I'm not really
That
sure who
was
was running the shift, or you know, the ship. Who is driving the ship? Nobody. Nobody.
I'm not sure anyone was, but that was the
Vicky.
worst birthday Sunday I have ever seen.
Right. I know Outback is not okay. Yeah. Anyway, so it
No.
was fine. We had a great dinner. We talked and laughed a lot, and that just made it more memorable.
Oh my God. Oh, it was so funny. The way she had, here's your birthday Sunday with this big smile on her face.
Like,
and you're like,
thank you.
is that what you call that? Okay. Wow. Yeah, it was wild. You guys.
I was polite about it, but oh man, and it was a free. Like, how could you bitch too much about something that's free? It was just hilarious. Yeah.
It was. It was hilarious. And after all of the other stuff that had happened, it was the cherry on top that you did not get.
It was kind of the last. Yeah, the very last of the. Maybe next time we'll go somewhere else.
Possibly. Well, let's get started. We have so much true crime to talk about.
Yeah.
And let's start right here
Ugh.
with this.
Krusty will be. Whew.
Yeah, she's a manky old hag is what she is.
I really love this picture because it really shows her true essence.
Yeah, like that's who she is. So
Mhm.
Lori Vallow Daybell has decided that she is not done with Judge Justin Bresky in Arizona. I would imagine that he does a lot of just screaming into a paper bag, um, throwing rocks at cars. I don't know. I hope he's got some good anger management skills because, oh my God. Okay. So she has filed a motion for a new trial. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you because it is 13 pages of bullshit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the gist. She was sick with a viral illness the whole time. The whole time. Guys,
whole
she
time.
was vomiting. The stomach flu is a 24-hour bug. The whole time. This was over a week. What? Anyway. And that Judge Boreski ordered her to court by any means necessary. She says this violates her Fourth Amendment rights. Newsflash. No, it doesn't. Doesn't at all. She also says, she's citing his lack of impartiality, abuse of discretion, again, allowing GSR and DNA evidence without sufficient foundation and denial of right to confront witness. What witness would that be?
I couldn't decide here. Was she talking about Alex? Or was
Right,
she
like
talking
what?
about Brandon? Because she did confront Brandon. So...
I know. That part, I was like, well, whatever. You're nuts. It's just a whole lot of bullshit. And, you know, that whole thing about foundation, she was always making those lack of foundation objection. The judge is like, yep, and goodbye. As usual, she's pissy because she didn't get her way. And then, I don't know, weirdly got convicted again of her fifth charge. Her fifth murder charge, basically. Also, she brings up lack of probable oh my God, this one. Because she just makes up the law now, as we know. The lack of a probable cause hearing for aggravating factors alleged by the state. Which doesn't exist. There is no such hearing. Also, how many times did Boreski do this with her? And then she just waived it anyway. So...
Yeah. You mean the hearing that she refused to have?
Yeah.
You're mad that you didn't have the hearing that you refused to have.
Right. Because the judge wouldn't call it a probable cause hearing because it isn't a probable cause hearing and she's an idiot. And all the aggravating factors they apply in this case and it doesn't change. This is already a top level sentence. Like it's not going to, it has no impact. She just doesn't like the law as usual because it's always against her because, well, you know. She wraps it up by saying the state of Arizona and I don't know, the Supreme Court of God, I don't know, did not honor the Constitution and a new trial is required. So she is trying to get a new trial. We all know that's never going to happen. Yes, Natasha, he did give her the option to let her legal counsel proceed if she wasn't feeling well. He did. Also, he ordered a medical evaluation by the jail, and the jail was like, "Yeah, she's fine.
Yep.
She might have got a little nauseous, but she is okay." Right? The Maricopa County Supreme Court, the Supreme Court of Jesus. I don't know who she thinks is going to rule on this.
Right.
I doubt there's even a hearing on it. It's probably another one of those memo rulings. Because are you kidding me? Yeah. All of this shit has already been ruled on and she didn't get her way. And so now she's freaking out. She's a real piece of work, isn't she?
Yeah. So refresh my memory there. It is Tammy Lachik that she was mad that she didn't get to.
Yes, that's right. Tammy Lachik. Yep. That whole thing.
Yeah. But the problem she's going to have with that is that Tammy Lachik wasn't the only person that got... First of all, she's calling her a witness is kind of a stretch, but
yeah, also... she's not a witness.
She wasn't the only person present when that evidence was gathered. And the people that were present were on the stand. She did have the opportunity to cross them. That's never going to go anywhere.
No, it's not going to go anywhere. None of this stuff is going to go anywhere. A lot of it, she's just making up the law now. She's gotten real big on the Constitution recently, although I'm pretty sure she hasn't read it based on the stuff she has to say about it.
Yeah.
So, you know, she's got to keep herself busy until her sentencing on July 25th. And I guess this is how she's going to do it.
Apparently so. I mean,
this one was even typed. Right. It wasn't even one of those crazy handwritten ones.
No. But does she Is she just not getting enough attention these days? And she just really needs to redo this trial to just show us all her legally blonde chops, or what? I
I
mean,
think so.
I
Well,
I don't get it.
she came up with lots of losses in both of these trials, including
Yes.
the trials.
Yes.
And yeah, like she doesn't have her sentencing, and then she's just bye bitch bye going to prison. So
Yeah.
I do think that that's a big part of it, is that
Yep.
she's tired of not having any attention on her. And
She seems
guys,
to want
she
another
was sick
Dancing
with
with the
a virus the
Stars.
entire time.
The entire time.
Dude, give me a break. Was that what the fake coughing was about? Where she only did it when someone else was testifying, and when she wasn't speaking, she didn't cough a single time?
I'll tell you what I'm confused about.
Mm.
And maybe I'm wrong, but coughing and vomiting aren't usually
Don't
the
go
same
together.
illness. Yeah.
That is exactly
So
was
what?
my
She
thought
had
as well.
the double barrel flu? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, top and bottom at the same time. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Just making shit up as usual.
Right? Entirely.
Bethy says, seems she really doesn't want to return to Pocatello, right?
Right.
Because once she comes back to Pocatello, it's all over, guys.
There'll be no more Dancing with the Stars auditions. She's all done.
No, there won't. She is just an inmate, and no one gives a shit, and she gets no more attention. So, But her rights, guys, her rights.
You guys, everyone is being mean to her.
Mm-hmm.
She can't
It's not
take
her
it
fault.
anymore.
She keeps trying and successfully murdering people. That's not her fault.
Right? And tries to get some kind of legal things to fly, and it never works, and she's mad and it's not fair. And as the judge had told her before, then file better things.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
she did not appreciate hearing that, but it's the truth.
Yeah, she's not going to get a new trial. This isn't going to
no.
go anywhere. Part of this is she also really wanted some daddy attention from that judge and did not get it.
Yep.
And that Judge Bresky was like, he treated her like an unruly teenager, which is exactly how she behaved.
Absolutely. Yep.
And she really, she's used to getting her way with men, and it just doesn't happen anymore.
Yep. Yep.
So, with that, Katie, I'm going to kick you over to an update on Bryan Kohberger.
Yeah. So here we have Bryan F. Kohberger. So a couple of things have come out. Still no ruling from the judge on whether they're going to delay, which means they're not going to delay.
They're not. He very clearly told her he wasn't going to.
He'll make a written ruling, but plan on us moving forward. They're certainly moving forward. But we know a little bit more now about who's going to be on the stand. And a couple of surprises. There's going to be 7 people from Pennsylvania on the stand.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's more than I could name in my head, so that's a lot.
Yeah. And one of them is one of the guards from the jail he was in when he was first arrested.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we know he said some things to the police that arrested him, too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. This is a guard who worked in the jail where he was held before he was extradited, is being called. We also know now that someone threatened him in that same place. Apparently, it was a prison where they held him. And he was threatened. This cracked me up. This is from News Nation. They said an inmate at the same prison allegedly threatened Kohberger. The source said Kohberger was housed in a cell with a glass door that offered little privacy beyond a blurred strip running down the middle of it. And an inmate said, "Fuck you, I'm going to kill you," with his middle finger raised as Bryan sat in the cell.
Oh, my God. How terrifying.
He was asked why he was there, and he told other inmates that he didn't do anything. He was asked why he killed those kids, and he said he didn't do anything. And he was asked why he even went to Moscow, and he said the shopping is better in Idaho. Shopping for victims, or?
I would beg to differ, yes. Yeah, shopping for what?
Because that's about all there would be to say about that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yikes. That's kind of
so
creepy.
yeah, so but interesting. I'm interested to hear what the guard has to say for sure. But yeah, 7 different witnesses from there. There's also
And these are prosecution witnesses?
these are prosecution witnesses. There's also somebody who he went to school with
Mm,
that we now know is on the witness list as well. So that's kind of interesting as well. So
interesting, because we've
yeah.
heard from some of the people that knew him that he was a little odd, guys,
Hmm.
or maybe a lot odd.
A lot odd. Yeah.
That should be interesting.
Yeah. So there was a school. The articles are saying this man's last name is Soma
Mm,
Sirfos. And,
mm.
or no, Soma is he's the kid he was in school with. So they're saying that this is someone who graduated from a school that Kohberger was kicked out of.
Oh,
He attended a youth law enforcement program at Monroe Career and Technical Institute once upon a time and was
really?
removed after female classmates complained about him. For the creepiness.
Yeah. Wow. I am not shocked by that. Yikes.
Hmm. So apparently, the school administrator, a woman named Tanya Beers, told the Idaho Massacre podcast that Kohberger wanted to be law enforcement more than anything else in the world.
Oh, yeah. It seems to be
Yeah.
pretty obvious.
Other people that are subpoenaed are his former boxing coach, a school advisor, and a professor.
Interesting.
Hmm. Yeah. So I'm very curious to see what we're going to see. Then, of course, there's the DoorDash driver too. So I'm really curious to see what that whole witness list looks like. But that's what's coming. I think, Jamie, I don't know. I'm thinking that was more like a high school program.
It sounds like it. Like a youth
Yeah,
program.
the youth program. Yeah. So
Wow.
that's
Interesting.
we'll be seeing a little bit more eking out here and there until the trial starts. So that's a little
Yeah.
piece, a little peek
Yeah.
into what we're gonna expect.
That's going to be pretty interesting. Thank you, Kristi, for the super sticker.
Oh yeah.
Super chat is on. We always appreciate that. All right. Is that everything for Kohberger?
Yeah. Yeah. Just wanted to
Okay.
answer Casey's question first. She
You
said,
bet.
random question. What do these men in the FLDS do for a living that have all these wives and children to support? Well, one thing they do is the wives and children are all on welfare. That has been a well known fact. That was a big controversy in the Jeff's FLDS group because the
Mm-hmm.
dude had 87 wives with 60 kids and the state was supporting them, most of them.
Now, all but one of those wives is actually unmarried.
Hmm.
So they look like single moms on paper.
Hmm. Yep. Yep. What do the dads do? A lot of those communities farm
Or
or
construction.
construction, things like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And depending on the sect, the wives work too, but I'm not sure that, I don't think in the FLDS they do, but in some of the other sects, the women do
The women do
have
work. Yeah.
jobs.
Yeah. Thank you, Casey. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's pretty much it. Welfare has been a big part of it,
Yeah. Yeah.
which not dragging
Well,
welfare, but kind of dragging
yes,
that.
and child labor, lots of child labor for sure.
Yes, lots of child labor. Yeah.
A day that I wondered if ever would come has finally come. The trial of Brooks Houck for the murder of Crystal Rogers has begun.
Wow.
This trial is not streamed, which is a real bummer because I
Yeah,
would
it
be
is.
watching it if it were. But let's tell you a little bit about what's happened. They have seated a jury. And they started today. They actually did opening statements and started with their first witness. This has been such a long time coming. And Crystal's dad was murdered as part of the search for her years ago. There was a police officer that was also murdered. It's a huge story. You've probably
Oh,
heard it,
yeah.
at least to some extent, that Crystal Rogers went missing, just vanished off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
It has been believed that Brooks Houck, who was her boyfriend, had everything to do with this, but it has taken a really long time to get to this point. So it's Brooks Houck and Joseph Lawson that are being tried right now.
Yeah.
Joseph Lawson and potentially his father, or is this the son? I can't remember. Anyway, it's a father-son duo that have been believed to be actually involved maybe after the fact with disposing of her body at the very least.
Yeah.
Maybe the murders themselves. So let's talk about this. This is a really high profile case in the community where it is happening. This is in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and it's one of those where it has divided towns, divided people, because the Houck family is a well-known and wealthy family, and there's been a lot of concern that there was not enough done initially when Crystal went missing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what happened today. The prosecutor started with opening statements at 10:54 Eastern this morning. They spent almost an hour with their opening statement. They asked the jurors repeatedly to use their common sense when hearing the evidence against the two co-defendants. We hear that term from prosecutors in opening statements quite often. We've heard that in the Daybell cases.
Oh, yeah.
There was conspiracy to kill Crystal. This is what the prosecution is saying. To kill Crystal that started prior to July 3rd of the year when she went missing, which was like 2015. It started with Rosemary Houck and how to kill Crystal.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of concerns that there's a family involvement here.
Yeah.
Rosemary was actually asking around to find someone to get rid of Crystal. And apparently the response to that request was, you got enough money?
Yeah.
Then we come to July 3rd. Brooks had called Crystal earlier in the day with plans for them to have a kid-free romantic evening. Instead, they went to the Houck farm at about 7:30 p.m. Houck left the farm around midnight, but before he did, there was a 13-second phone call to Steve Lawson, who is the other guy charged. Crystal never came back.
Yeah, that was it for Crystal.
Yeah. Weirdly, Brooks Houck got tinted windows on his truck prior to Crystal Rogers' disappearance.
Wow.
Creepy, right? We've heard that before. It's believed that he wanted people to see him returning back to town when he'd left with her and came back without her, that people wouldn't be able to see that because the windows were tinted. Isn't that creepy?
Brooks, Vallow, Houck? Yeah.
Yeah. Her phone was shut off at 9:27 p.m. on July 3rd. Which doesn't match his statement. He's made so many statements. He's lied so much stuff about much shit.
And the arrogance of this man is unmatched.
Yeah. Authorities did look into Nick Houck's car. Nick is Brooks' brother on July 9th as part of the investigation. There are also some recorded conversations because they apparently had some phone taps. I'm not exactly sure how they got the recordings, but between Rosemary and Brooks. And apparently Rosemary, Houck, and Crystal didn't get along. She thought that Crystal was beneath them.
Oh.
She is reported to having said she won't be around anymore. We'll raise him, Eli, their child they had together, upright. Now, Crystal had other children as well.
Yeah.
And she just disappeared. Like, no trace has ever been found of her body. Nothing. There's a recording from their grand jury testimony where they talked about the Houck family secret. which appears to be the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. Crystal has been gone so long that she has actually been legally deemed dead.
Wow.
Then the defense's opening statements. Steve Schroering is the one of the defense attorneys, the main one. Said their entire case and the charges against Houck and Lawson are based on guesses, theories, suspicions, and assumptions. Gosh, I hope they have more than that. I think they do, but this case has been really quiet too about what exactly they have.
Yeah.
He's trying to put
they seemed
doubt.
pretty reticent to charge him for quite a while.
They did. Like, they waited a long years to charge him because they wanted to be sure. He says that the trial should be about evidence and facts. Tells jurors that this case has overwhelming scientific evidence, but pointed out where prosecutors lack in physical evidence. No body, no weapon, no witness, no crime scene. Right?
Yeah.
He said Brooks has been cooperative with the police. Brooks is a shithead, you guys. Whatever.
Cooperative. Isn't he a former police officer himself?
No, his brother is. His brother Nick is. Yeah. He says that he tinted the truck windows, not so people couldn't tell that Crystal wasn't in the car, but because their son Eli had an eye condition. He was just being a good dad, guys.
Oh.
Can't explain why he left with Crystal to his parents' house and then didn't come back with her. Can't explain that though.
No.
Let's see. He said that the Houck family recorded everything because they were immediate targets and didn't trust anyone. Well, that's going to come in real handy because we're going to get to hear some of those.
Yeah.
He said police use bullying, manipulation, and coercion to get people to tie the defendants to this crime. Honestly, it doesn't appear that that's the case at all. It's taken them a very long time to be able to get to this place.
That seems to have been the opposite, really. That there were plenty of people that didn't want anything to do with this. Yeah.
Yeah. There were three prosecution witnesses that took the stand today. Christina Hall, who was Crystal's friend, Amanda Greenwell, who is Crystal's cousin, and Jonathan Snow, who was the lead detective on the case. He isn't now, but was at the time. It's not Christina Hall, it's Christina Hawley, sorry. She says that Crystal had told her about the plans to have a romantic evening with Brooks on July 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
She also said there was an eerie conversation she had with Brooks before Eli was born, their little boy, that spoke to the negative things he said about Crystal, including disliking her hair and that Rosemary didn't approve of her. Pretty much hindsight is 20/20 on that now. Yep. Apparently, Brooks's mother, Rosemary, didn't like Crystal because Crystal already had 4 children when she and Brooks got together.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Boo. Jesus. Rosemary strikes me as another Dawn Adelson.
Right? Really, really scary.
Mm-hmm.
They also had, this is heartbreaking, they had Kylie Fenwick, who is Crystal's daughter, on the stand. She talks about how she was calling and texting her mom with no response from the evening of July 3rd and July 4th. And she came home that Saturday to get a dress for church on Sunday. She'd been somewhere and had been trying to reach her mom and couldn't get her.
Mm-hmm.
She said when she got to the house, she opened Brooks and Crystal's bedroom door and he jumped up, startled, like he was not expecting her.
Yeah.
She asked where her mom was, and he said, she's out with Sabrina, who is Crystal's cousin. And at the time she believed him because what else would she know,
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what happened today. So it's off the ground, finally.
Good.
But I hate for her daughter to have to testify. That's really sad.
Awful.
Yeah. Go back and watch our original Crystal Rogers episode because we give the whole story. It's just too much to give in updates like this. But wanted to share that with you. We're going to keep following this trial because Crystal Rogers deserves justice, even if they will they ever find her body? Or even is there a body to find at this point?
Yep.
I don't
Awful.
know. Yeah. Totally terrible. Let's switch to something slightly less terrible. I've heard that there have been some people arrested for drag racing in Grand Teton National Park. You want to tell us about that?
It is pretty terrible, actually. I have big feelings about this. This is the road in question. This is Teton Park Road. This is outside of Jackson Hole and headed towards Yellowstone.
Yeah.
This is just a 2-lane highway. I believe the speed limit is 30 on this road. Maybe a little bit more. It's not a lot because of the amount of wildlife that is on this road. This is right in the general area where Gabby Petito went missing.
Yeah. And it's a pretty narrow road. Like, it is not a road that you can take quickly, safely.
Not at all. No. And there's been a lot of problems with this road and with the roads right in this area. They're very, very busy, and they have a lot of wildlife on them.
Yeah.
It's estimated that 50,000 people per day visit Jackson Hole. And then many of them travel between Jackson Hole and Yellowstone Park. And this is the gateway for that. This is Bear 399. She was known as the Queen of the Tetons.
Yes,
she
sure
was an absolute wonder. She broke records of known wild bears and the amount of cubs they have. This was the quads she had a few years ago, which for her age to still be having cubs was crazy.
Sure was.
She was very famous in the area. People had been seeing her for years. She's mothered, I think, 36 cubs.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
at 28 years old, last October, the Queen of the Tetons was hit by a car.
Yeah.
And killed in Grand Teton National Park. And it's
heartbreaking.
Yeah. Fast forward to this spring. This bad boy right here. This is Bear 1058. He was also one of Bear 399's cubs.
Yeah.
He was born in 2020. And earlier this spring, he too was struck by a car in Grand Teton National Park and killed. In fact, the Jackson Hole Wildlife Foundation tracks roadkill hotspots for moose, elk, and mule deer. And they are saying that between 75 and 100 large animals are killed by cars within the park boundaries every year. Between 75 and 100. Now, know that if you hit a moose, you're going to be lucky to walk away.
Oh, yeah.
If you hit an elk, you're going to be lucky to walk away. People, unfortunately, hit deer all the time. They are in the road a lot. It sucks.
They're more survivable to hit, too.
Yeah.
But moose, particularly.
Moose. Oh.
Yikes.
Once in a rare while, a little further into Yellowstone, people hit a bison, which also, if you're going fast, you probably are going to die.
Yeah, that's like hitting a brick wall. Like,
yeah.
Holy hell.
But also the bears. So why do I tell you all this grisly shit? Well, that's because there was a call last night to law enforcement that there was a group of drag racers in really fancy sports cars going at excessive speeds, taking up both lanes, passing each other, and driving recklessly right here, right on this road.
My God, how stupid can you be?
I can't think of anything more irresponsible than that in our park.
No.
It's so incensing to me. They were
stay out of our parks.
Driving so fast that they actually arrested 4 of them. I mean, getting a speeding ticket is one thing, but you really have to be cooking to get arrested for it. They impounded
Especially
a few cars.
In Wyoming, which is famous for high speed driving.
Yeah.
Because in the Badlands, I mean, there's nothing.
Yeah.
But not Grand Teton National Park.
No. When the call came in, they ended up with 12 rangers out pulling over these cars and issuing citations. And again, ended up arresting 4 of them and impounding 2 of their cars. This is fucking bullshit. It makes me so mad. Because again, this is what it costs us.
Yes.
Not to mention other people. There
Right.
was a horrifying wreck on the west side of Yellowstone earlier in the year where a pickup truck cut across the lane. It was another 2-lane road. They cut into the other lane. They crashed into a travel van full of Chinese tourists, and the driver of the pickup was killed, as well as, I believe, 7 of the Chinese tourists. It was absolutely horrific. Others were terribly, terribly injured.
Seriously injured.
And finally, we just learned just recently that cause of death finally came back, or the whole crime scene was put back together, or the accident scene, and that dude was drunk. He was drunk and speeding right outside of Yellowstone and killed 7 tourists.
Asshole.
This stuff needs to be treated super serious. I was shocked today reading an article about this, reading the comments from people that were like, oh, just let him have fun. People that don't like this have just never driven a fast car and realized how much fun it is and stuff. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Right. Because you're not just taking your own life in your hands, dickbag. That's why.
No, that's why. Let's try to grow up. So we'll keep an eye on it. I really figured they're probably influencers, and we'll probably start seeing it come out on their accounts here at some point.
See, that's what I'm thinking. Are these rented? Because
no,
Jackson Hole is super high-end, very wealthy people. Like a lot of celebrities have houses there and stuff, but like where were they coming up with these cars?
Right. Well, there's a whole crew of these guys, and a lot of them are influencers that have YouTube channels. And they buy all these really fancy cars, and they drive all over the place. They're constantly getting new cars and upgrading them and whatnot. And
these influencers love to come to Yellowstone and Grand Teton and do stupid shit.
Right.
And end up getting criminal charges.
Last week in trouble for a drone chasing osprey out of their nest with a drone.
God. Well, and they're in Grand Teton is Grand Prismatic. And Grand Prismatic, how many times have people been charged for influencers walking out on Grand Prismatic, which I guess you are taking your life in your hands and ruining it out there. Like, what is wrong with people?
Yeah.
Leave our parks alone.
So if we find out these were influencers or people that are notable, we will blast their names all over the internet.
We will.
Because
we will certainly let you know.
Do not come to our neck of the woods and act like this. My God.
No. You assholes.
Mm-hmm.
Leave our mountains alone. Leave our parks and our bears.
Yeah.
God. The reason that Bear 399 was so successful at keeping her cubs alive is because she kept them around the roads.
Mm-hmm.
It protected them. Yeah. Because if not, the big boar grizzlies will come and kill their babies, but they are very solitary. They don't want to come around people. So she figured out and made it work for 28 years before a car took her life.
Yeah.
That is how she kept her babies alive. I mean, she kept quads alive. That is unheard of.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was because of proximity to the road. But that's why you have to be so careful.
Right, because they are around the road. Earlier last year, there was another bear named, I think, was it Snow or Raspberry? I think it was Raspberry that got hit by a car and laid next to the road for 12 hours. And the rangers, but she didn't seem to be deceased. And what do? I mean, the rangers just kind of barricaded her off.
They don't interfere.
No, they don't interfere. They just kept keeping her little cubs from running out over the road because she had 2 cubs with her. And suddenly, Raspberry just sat up and kind of shook her head off and took off into the brush with her cubs. She lived.
But she knocked her unconscious for a bit.
And the thing is, like the guy that hit the Queen of the Tetons, he wasn't drunk. He wasn't speeding. It was dusk. He saw her cub. He swerved to miss the cub and took her out. He didn't even see her because it was dark. And he was going the speed limit and was aware. Yeah. Imagine going, 100 miles an hour on that road.
And some stupid Bugatti or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I just can't think of anything.
Flipping out into the trees is what you
more
do.
Unsafe and selfish and stupid. I can't even. Yeah. So that's what I've got.
I know we're getting real get off my lawn here. When you live around national parks, you all know. Those of you in Utah, you probably feel the same way about your parks.
Right.
Get the hell away from our cool shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jamie says that she saw 399 and twin cubs in May 2015. That's so cool.
That's awesome.
She was so cool.
Really special. Yep.
Yeah, very, very special. Let's see. Yeah. Katie, tell us what's going on in the Diddy trial.
So the Diddy trial has rested. The state rested. The defense had the floor. The defense spoke for 20 minutes. They called no witnesses. They entered a few text messages in from two of the witnesses, from Diddy's one of his exes, Cassie, and someone else, basically, you know, saying that they liked the freak offs. Oh, yeah, Cassie Ventura and another witness saying, with texts just claiming, to make it look like they really liked that stuff that they were doing and they were all in on it. And that's
Sex
it.
trafficking is fun, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Gross.
The government called 30 witnesses to the stand, a little more than 30 witnesses, actually. Diddy did not testify, and
wisely so.
Yeah.
Can you
so the
imagine
other victim,
what doors that would have opened?
Oh yeah, the other victim that testified went by the pseudonym Jane. So that was pretty much it. They had a presentation on those text messages. They said Mr. Combs was regrettably violent, but domestic violence is not sex trafficking.
It can be, depending
It
on
sure
the
can
nature
be.
of it.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, do you think the government has made their case? Have they made their RICO case?
Well, they're actually dropping a couple of charges.
Are they?
They
are. I am a little concerned.
They're
not that they haven't proven anything. They have, but
yeah.
No,
they're shoring up. They have asked the judge to strike language regarding attempted kidnapping and arson. So, but he is still facing the RICO charge. Yep, he's still facing the racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking. Yep. So they're trying to just streamline the charges because they kind of had they kind of threw a lot of charges at the wall, I think, to see what would stick. So at any rate, so they're working on juror instructions, and we're not far out, I think, from juror instructions and final arguments. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 7 weeks. It was 7 weeks.
It was a long trial, but there's a lot. There was a lot to cover.
Yeah.
It's just, it's such a broad case.
Huge, yeah.
And, where we can't watch it, I've just been reading, updates and stuff. It's so hard to know what the jurors are getting from all of this.
Right, right. So Natasha said she thinks he will be acquitted. I think all bets are off at this point, Natasha. I agree with you that I don't know. I think some of the freak off videos that the jury had to watch apparently were very jarring. And I wonder if that's some of the stuff that will help seal the deal. I wonder if he will get acquitted on some charges and not on others.
The thing is, if they convict him on RICO, that's life in prison.
Yeah.
That's just, it's a given. The other charges are smaller, shorter penalties, which, obviously, if he did them all, he should be convicted of them all. But one of the reasons they put RICO in there is because, that's a life sentence. He's not getting out if they convict him of that. But I don't know. I'm not.
I kind of think we'll see some guilty and some not guilty parts of this. I also think it's going to take the jury a hot minute to deliberate and break all this down.
Well, 7 weeks of evidence to have to go through. That's a ton.
Yeah, I agree. His career is done regardless. He's
but
absolutely, his reputation is completely destroyed. But dude has a ton of money.
Dangerous person.
Yeah.
And I still
so we'll see.
I'm still very reticent about the whole thing because where's the list of the other people that were involved?
Yeah.
And why aren't any of them on trial?
Right.
Is that coming? Are there going to be more people charged? Because it seems as though, well, I mean, it's for sure that he didn't do this alone.
Right, for sure.
And I mean, that is organized crime. There has to be an organization. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
what about these other people?
No, I think it's a good point and a good question.
Yeah.
Yep.
Joel, yeah. Joel says, I think they've proved he's a horrible person. That doesn't mean he's guilty. Right. It's true. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, he's a piece of shit. But did they present enough evidence? And maybe they did. I don't know.
Well,
It just,
but
it
just
doesn't
like
feel
in
as
Karen
solid.
Reed, I am seeing really conflicting opinions on that, on like
Hmm.
from YouTube lawyers and stuff. Some saying absolutely not. They proved he's, yeah, basically a piece of shit, but he's not guilty of a crime. And others that are like, it's a slam dunk. They've got him. So who knows? Where we didn't get to
We'll
watch it,
see.
it's so hard to know.
I know. I hate that. I hate that about the
Hmm.
Brooks Houck trial, too. It's very hard to gauge
Yeah.
if you're not actually seeing what's happening in the courtroom. It's really hard to know what is the jury getting from
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Right. Right. And I think that's true, Natasha, that there are plenty of people that were not going to come forward on
Yeah.
this for their own safety.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And true, there is
And
some immunity involved. Yeah, as
that's
well.
true. That's a good point too. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting. And the way federal trials are done, it's just all so much different than, most of what we follow as state. It's just a little different deal.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to wrap us up with a story out of France that is so damn scary. This is insane. Have you guys seen this? So it was a music festival, and 145 people were attacked with syringes. And this was across France.
The
This was
hell?
an annual street music festival. 12 people have been arrested. We still don't even know if there was something in the syringes. Okay.
Oh my
So they
God.
were running around at this, and there had been a bunch of threats against women. Think,
Hmm.
think, think, Giselle Pellico. Okay.
Hmm.
Threats against women in France, calling for attacks on women leading up to this festival. And then there are these people running around poking people, pricking people with syringes at these events.
Yeah.
There were 13 cases in Paris, and then they're spread all across the whole country. In Metz, 17 girls and young women reported being attacked. 2 men were arrested in that city. The women were all taken to hospitals for testing.
Hmm.
12 people 12 people have been arrested, believed to have targeted 50 women, but actually 145 have reported getting poked.
Jeez, can you imagine someone just running up to you and poking you with a syringe of something?
That is so terrifying. Like,
Yeah.
are they exposing them to HIV? Are they
Right.
trying to roofie them? Like, what is the purpose
Fentanyl?
of this? Yes,
Air?
only women were victims, and the offenders are men.
Yeah.
This music festival has been around since 1982. It occurs every year on June 21st, and it's in the point of it is to encourage people to play music in the streets, and so it's on the same day, but it's held all across the whole country.
Hmm.
And there were people all over who pricking people with these syringes. Some people have reported feeling unwell after being pricked with a syringe.
Hmm.
But we don't know yet exactly what was in or on those needles and why this happened.
Right.
But this was a concerted effort across an entire country that has affected 145 victims.
That is horrifying.
It is
Also,
absolutely
imagine being
terrifying.
somebody who was pricked by a needle who right now has no idea what to expect.
Right.
Was I just exposed to
Yeah.
some
What was
crazy
this
disease?
about?
Mm.
Right, Kristi? And it is a very organized attack
Yeah.
because it happened in multiple cities all on the same day. They've arrested at least 12 people involved with it. Like, what was this for?
So there'll be some toxicology forthcoming, I'm guessing, but
yeah, that's kind of all coming, but this just barely happened on the 21st, so there's a lot we don't know yet.
wow.
And also it's France, and so I don't speak French, so the only stuff I can get is in English about it. But how scary. But all I can think about is all of those men accused in Giselle Pellico, and about how many people tried to poo-poo that situation,
right? Yeah,
and say that this wasn't such a big deal and what's her problem. And it very, very scary to think that there's some organized movement now to attack total strangers in public.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So we're going to be keeping a very close eye on that story.
Yes.
I don't know a ton yet, but I want to share more because we need to keep an eye. And also, France, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What is going on with men in your country? And I say that as an American, and I know there is no irony there, okay? I get it. We got our own problems. But can you imagine?
Really? Yeah.
Just running around poking people? Like, you could be introducing something into their body.
Yeah.
You could be exposing people to a virus or something. Like, or drugging people. Scary. Or poisoning people.
And there's so many things that could have happened
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the watch party from a couple of months ago.
Yes.
From Rockstar to Killer. We watched it at the watch party, but if you haven't watched it, it's on Netflix. It's called From Rockstar to Killer. And this was another instance where you'll go, what the hell is going on in France? The murder didn't actually happen in France, but a lot of the abuse did, and the nonsense. But my gosh. Yeah.
And just the attitudes toward the victim and the offender, and Sanders is just really on one tonight.
Really on fire tonight.
She's purring her brains out. She wants to circle me 400 times, but I think that might get distracting to be watching. She's biting me, guys. She's biting me.
Yeah.
She's such a funny cat.
Good point, Christine. They could be poking people with the same needle as well. Yeah.
Right. Spreading things, because you don't know
what someone else
you poke
might
somebody,
be
you spread something. Oh my God. It is terrifying. Like, when I read this article, I was like, holy shit, that is an incredibly scary thought to happen in public like that. And no one know why or what's happening. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yes, Miss Sandy. She has really made her opinions known this evening.
She certainly has, yes.
Oh, Christy says Sandy is just like my cat Queenie. They sound the same and look the same. Oh, do they? Do they make they make the same sounds? Because Sandy's voice is very different from my other cats. Like, I immediately know it's her from another room if I hear her, because the way she talks is really interesting. Yeah. Well, that is everything that we have for you tonight. It's a lot. There's a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. We're going to keep covering the Brooks Houck situation. Really, Queenie sounds like an old smoker. Yeah, that's what I've always thought of Sandy. She's like hoarse, raspy.
Yeah.
Funny. She's always been that way her whole life. She's 15, but she's always sounded like that. But we'll stay up on the Brooks Houck thing. We're going to stay up on the syringe thing. Obviously, we're going to stay up on Vallow and Kohberger, and we're going to let you know who was driving those damn cars in Grand Teton too, because
it'll come out.
Those guys.
Yep.
It will.
It'll come out in the next couple of days. Yep.
Yeah. Yes, it will. All righty. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Queenie is also 15. Oh my gosh. Are Sandy and Queenie twins, and they were separated at birth? Maybe I found Sandy at a gas station. So,
well, I mean, Queenie does live in another country, but
she does. It's true. It's true. Joelle says she tunes in for Sandy just as much as us too. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow for our live at 3 p.m. Mountain. And you know it. We are the True Crime Squad. Thanks for being here.
Take care.
Season 6, we're back again. Kristi and Katie, your crime time friends. Stories, justice, laughs collide. True Crime Squad, come join the ride. Grab the clues, let's take a stand. For victims' voices, hand in hand. True Crime Squad, it's time to shine. Season 6, your turn, your time. True Crime Squad, where justice meets hilarity.